essentially with new fruit tree plantings, you really don't want to trim for the first year or so. With apple trees, they grow so aggressively that you can do a little bit of pruning. If you take the long wispy growth that's going to be broken by apples or any weight put on them, is really all I would do. You'd be able to get maybe one or two of these low branches off. But essentially, if you just do a cut right above the dominant bud on the branch, you're going to do a lot better. So on this branch, your healthiest bud is going to be here and here. So you'd want to go with the less aggressive. Same with here, your dominant bud is here. For this larger one, you go about here, and as long as your cuts are following the same direction that the bud's going, you're going to be a whole lot easier to heal and compartmentalize. Essentially, trimming the top down like this is going to stimulate more growth through here. From the distance that we cut it here, your most growth is going to happen between here and here with those trimmings. And then I personally like to leave low growth just because I like to be able to get to my apples and my other fruit trees or fruit. So we'll just do a little bit of trimming there. This one's not going to be good even in the end run, so we'll clip that, but I wouldn't go any lower than those.
Awesome. That's from Troy, the tree specialist. He is going to be taking care of all of Earthen Havens trees. Wish us luck.
With the almond tree, long shoots like this you can trim back when they're really young. Essentially, once it starts to grow after about 3 years, you really want to get more height out of the tree, and they're just like any other pecan or anything. The least trimming you do, the healthier they'll be and the better off. After about 4 or 5 years after you've trained it, you really want to just clip out dead. But just like with the apple tree, if you take and cut the top off, you'll stimulate a lot more growth in through it, so you'll come up with a lot more permanent branches. There's lots of ways to trim them. My favorite way to trim them is to take a couple of stalks, the healthiest stalks, and let them keep growing up nice and tall. And then you'll clean up the base. It looks a whole lot better. And as long as you're not trimming it down from the top and you're allowing it to grow, you can clean up the base quite a ways and you'll still get the really good, thick, juicy pomegranates out of it. So on one as messy as this, even though it's young, you can start to trim it, not nearly as aggressive as what you would if it had a well-established root system. But when you have pomegranates that are starting to twist around each other, you can take a couple of those out to give the remaining one a little bit more energy and not have to fight quite as much. So I would probably take that one, the skinnier of these two out, and where this one, this is older growth. This is probably 2, possibly even 3 years of growth right here. And you have a sucker growth coming off of it that's trying to dominate. And just kind of go through it and pick out how many you'd like to have growing, and essentially every year you'll get all sorts of growth coming out of the root system, and you can just pick and choose how many you want to have growing up. If you ever have a really cold winter, a lot of them are going to die. But how they grow, the new growth coming out, you should be fine. Even if a pomegranate dies completely back, you're really only about a 50% chance that it actually